Hello, welcome back to another video. Say hello to my little hands over there. Okay, let me stabilize the camera here real quick. Anyhow, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the channels and the videos and the topics. For sure, hit the notification bell and the likes if you enjoy the videos. One of the things that I think helped me a lot is that by nature I'm a very curious person and I love history. Okay, so I consume a lot of read materials as well as watch a lot of videos on YouTube or on the history channels of all sort of history. And being a person that think outside of the box, I approach watching a lot of history videos or read material with an eye and ear that it may not be completely correct, okay, because that's just the way life is. Okay, most people, a lot of people just don't have the full perspective of everything because that's just the way it is. So I don't take any one view or opinion as facts, okay? And I hope other people approach life this way. Think for yourself. There's nothing wrong with listening to other people, but don't digest the information as a complete factual or truth of any sort. Okay, it's okay to listen to somebody, but also try to listen to other sources of materials to see if things make sense eventually, right? For example, in the last video I talked about the war between China and Vietnam in 1979, and I mentioned that if you go on YouTube and search, you're gonna see a lot of videos that talk about that war in 1979, and just about every video will talk about the reasons why China attacked Vietnam as the mistreatment of ethnic Chinese and or a combination of that and how China felt that Vietnam did not appreciate the help China gave during the Vietnam War with the US, okay? But I kind of throw in another reason why China went into war with Vietnam, okay? And here's a little bit more to the story. After the war ended in 1975, Vietnam actually went to war with another country before the war with China, Cambodia. Okay? For those that are not familiar, for sure, Google Pol Pot. Okay? Pol Pot is a name. And research and read up on the horrific history of Pol Pot and what he did to his own country, Cambodia. For those that are familiar with Pol Pot, I'm sure you are familiar with the killing fields. Pol Pot was a horrific person that literally killed 20 to 25% of the population of Cambodia under his murderous regime. Okay? And Cambodia and Vietnam had a lot of conflict starting in 1978. There was a lot of border skirmish, and eventually Vietnam decided that the only way to stop Pol Pot is to take over Cambodia. Okay, rightfully or wrong, the Vietnamese army marched into Cambodia and chased Pol Pot and his lieutenants into the jungle and try to set up a government that was more friendly to Vietnam. Okay, and that was when much of what is going on in Cambodia start to surface, up until the point where Vietnam invaded Cambodia. What's going on, what went on in Cambodia as far as the killing fields was not known to the West. Now, if you research and read up on the war between Cambodia and Vietnam, you will find that the people, the countries that was backing Cambodia to fight Vietnam was, would it be a surprise, the US and China. History is messy. It is a lot messier than many people knew or understand, and this is the same with other regions of the country. Okay, when we talk about the big mess in Afghanistan or the Middle East and how dirty many things are, nothing as it seems, it's not news. It's not news to me that I have seen what happened with Vietnam, and it is sad that I think because a lot of people just digest news from the talking head, they just don't understand the gamemanship behind why war was started. A lot of time it's not for the reason that you see or hear on the news. It's not, okay? But China was a major backer for Cambodia as well as the US because, well, you can figure out the reason, but Pol Pot killed hundreds of thousands of ethnic Chinese because that's part of his regime as far as the reason why he wanted to get rid of educated people in his country, the wealthier people, the more educated people. He literally killed, his regime killed hundreds of thousands of ethnic Chinese. But yet, the Chinese backed him. So, you see why the reason that many other videos on YouTube say, oh, China attacked Vietnam because of the mistreatment of ethnic Chinese. It's utter nonsense. It's utter nonsense. You know why? One of the key reasons why China attacked Vietnam in 1979, because Vietnam was winning the war with Cambodia in 1978. And because of the war that they started in 1979, Vietnam then have to divert resource in the war with Cambodia to fight the war up north. And because of that, shortly after that, Pol Pot returned to power. You can go and read up and watch the history of Cambodia, and it is astounding. It is astounding that Pol Pot was able to return to power in 1979 or shortly after that, and even got into the United Nations. The West ignored the genocide. It's unthinkable. Okay, so history is messy. Racism is messy. And I think the history of Asians in this country, between all the different ethnic groups, is a lot messier than what many Asians don't know. Okay, it is vital, I think, for most of us to educate, to stand up for our race, our ethnics, so that people know why we behave in a certain way. As I mentioned in the past videos, I don't really have the answer how we can all get along, because you're talking about centuries, decades of war and hate. It's not gonna go away overnight. Just like the Middle East region, things are very complicated, and it's oversimplification to think that all Asians are alike. Okay? We're not alike in a lot of ways. We don't like each other. Many of us don't like each other. And many of us may not stand up for other Asians that are in other ethnic. This is a very big hurdle for Asians in general to overcome. And unless we can overcome, we can never eradicate the prejudice or racism between some people. Okay, there are always going to be some segment of society that can't let go of their racism. Okay, it does not mean that we can't get along and unite. Just like, you know, saying that there are racist cops, it does not mean that every cop is racist, or there are racist white people. It does not mean that every white person is racist. Same thing with Asians. There are racist Asians out there, and part of the problem that Asians have is that the combination of the existing racism and the fact that by nature and Asians in general are more quiet, it adds to the problem why this friction between many Asians persists under the water. Okay, it's under the surface. It doesn't get discussed. No one wants to talk about it, or I am talking about it. Okay, I'm willing to stand up, chin up, and speak up about it. And I think more Asians need to do the same, recognizing that there is a big problem. It's a lot bigger than a lot of people want to admit it is. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.